Could you be unknowingly compromising your own health? It's a common question many of us ponder as we observe how some individuals seem to maintain their mental acuity, vitality, and overall wellness deep into their 80s and even 90s. Conversely, others appear locked in a struggle against persistent tiredness, frequent infections, and a noticeable decline in their health. Is it possible that the crucial variance isn't merely attributable to good fortune or genetic predisposition, but rather something as fundamental as the way we approach our daily personal care? Most of us adhere to the identical hygiene practices we established decades ago: showering, brushing our teeth, perhaps applying some moisturizer, and we operate under the assumption that we are covering all the necessary bases for good health. But here's a rather surprising thought. There are 5 specific body areas, often overlooked, that many people, especially those of us navigating our later years, are not cleaning adequately. And the implications of this oversight are genuinely significant. Before we delve deeper, if this topic resonates with you and you appreciate practical health advice, please take a moment to click the like button for this video. Supporting old age wisdom. This way enables us to produce more content aimed at enhancing your well-being. Neglecting these specific zones can unfortunately pave the way for considerable health difficulties, extending from chronic, underlying inflammation to infections that can substantially undermine your immune system's strength. Furthermore, current research indicates a potential link between inadequate hygiene in these very areas and an increased risk for heart conditions, complications related to diabetes, and even a decline in cognitive function. The truly encouraging news is that rectifying this situation usually requires only a few extra minutes each day. Yet, implementing these simple changes can markedly improve your energy levels, promote better blood circulation, and potentially contribute to greater longevity. My own perspective on these subtle hygiene errors was profoundly shifted after a conversation with Dr. Emma Harris, a distinguished geriatric specialist possessing more than 3 decades of experience assisting older adults. The knowledge she imparted completely altered my understanding of personal cleanliness. Therefore, today, I intend to unveil 5 specific body parts that commonly escape proper attention and explain precisely why affording them just a bit more care could genuinely contribute years to your life. Please rest assured, my goal isn't to suggest lengthy bathroom rituals or the purchase of costly specialty items. We're focusing on straightforward, actionable advice that demands only minutes daily, but the potential positive transformation for your health could be substantial. If you find value in this approach, please consider liking this video or subscribing to Old Age Wisdom so you don't miss future insights. Stay with me through this discussion, because once you become familiar with these 5 critical areas, you are likely to begin observing noticeable positive changes, experiencing fresher breath, achieving better physical balance, noticing fewer aches, and potentially even enjoying more restorative sleep. Before we proceed, please do me a small favor. If maintaining your health is important to you and you desire more guidance like this, hitting the like button significantly helps us provide more valuable content. If you haven't subscribed to Old Age Wisdom yet, please do so now and activate the notifications, ensuring you won't miss any future videos designed to help you live a better, longer life. Let's begin with one of the most unexpected, yet commonly neglected, areas: your tongue. Think about this analogy. You diligently clean your kitchen daily, wiping counters, scrubbing the sink, and disposing of trash. But imagine if there was one particular surface in your house steadily accumulating layers of grime, bacteria, and food residue, and you were completely unaware or ignoring it. This scenario mirrors precisely what occurs inside your mouth when your tongue isn't cleaned properly. Your tongue is far more than just a muscle facilitating eating and speech. It serves as a prime breeding ground for bacteria. At any given moment, it harbors over 700 distinct types of microorganisms. While some are beneficial, a great many can cause significant disruption to your health if allowed to proliferate unchecked. And here's where the situation demands serious attention. Harmful bacteria originating on the tongue can potentially infiltrate your bloodstream via minute cuts or through inflamed gum tissues, conditions particularly prevalent among older adults. Insufficient tongue hygiene has been scientifically associated with heart disease, complications arising from diabetes, and even respiratory infections. Furthermore, a tongue coated with buildup can diminish your sense of taste, place an extra burden on your immune system, and be a persistent source of bad breath, halitosis. Consider your tongue akin to the air filter within your home's heating and cooling system. If left uncleaned, dust and debris accumulate, eventually rendering the air circulating throughout your home stale and less healthy. Thankfully, maintaining tongue cleanliness is straightforward, quick, and doesn't necessitate any expensive gadgets. Here is a concise, effective routine for keeping your tongue in optimal health. Utilize a tongue scraper. This small, affordable tool, readily available at most drugstores, is considerably more effective than simply using your toothbrush bristles on your tongue. Gently draw the scraper from the back of your tongue towards the front. Avoid applying excessive pressure. Envision it as gently wiping dust from a countertop. Thoroughness is key, not aggression. Repeat this motion 3 or 4 times. You'll likely observe a thin, whitish, or yellowish film being removed. This consists of bacteria and dead cells you definitely don't want lingering in your body. Finish by rinsing your mouth with water or an antibacterial mouthwash to eliminate any remaining debris. Timing is also relevant. In the morning, perform this routine before breakfast to remove bacteria that accumulated overnight. In the evening, before bed, be a bit gentler, as your tongue might be more sensitive after a day's use. This uncomplicated, 3-minute habit possesses the power to positively transform your health in ways you might not have anticipated. Discover the surprising advantages of regular tongue cleaning. You can regain your full sense of taste. Many older adults find that after merely a few weeks of consistent tongue cleaning, flavors become noticeably more vibrant and enjoyable, reminiscent of past experiences. Imagine truly savoring your morning coffee or the sweetness of fresh fruit as you once did. You can also bolster your immune system. Your body continuously works hard to combat bacteria. By decreasing the bacterial load present in your mouth, you effectively lessen the strain on your immune defenses, thereby freeing up valuable energy resources for other essential bodily functions. Finally, say farewell to persistent bad breath. Chronic halitosis is frequently caused by bacteria trapped on the tongue's surface. While brushing your teeth is crucial, it often isn't sufficient on its own to resolve this issue. However, dedicated tongue cleaning usually will. Consider Linda, a 67-year-old retiree, who incorporated tongue scraping into her routine after many years of overlooking this practice. Within just 3 months, she was astonished by how much richer her food tasted. She hadn't even consciously recognized the extent of the taste diminishment she had experienced. During her subsequent dental checkup, her dentist observed less plaque accumulation and healthier gum tissue. Then there's the story of Theodore, a 71-year-old retired teacher who had struggled with bad breath for years despite meticulous brushing and flossing. Nothing seemed effective. He initially expressed skepticism when tongue scraping was suggested, but after only 2 weeks of consistent use, his long-standing problem completely disappeared. He regained confidence in social situations, no longer burdened by this concern. 4. Easier adoption. If you have a sensitive gag reflex, begin by scraping from the middle of your tongue, gradually working your way further back as you become more accustomed. Always be observant of unusual signs. If you notice persistent soreness, white patches, or discoloration on your tongue, consult your doctor, as it could signal an underlying health issue requiring attention. Small, deliberate habits like this one can generate positive ripple effects, enhancing your long-term well-being in unforeseen ways. And the best part? This is merely the first of 5 often neglected hygiene habits that could potentially add years to your life. Are you prepared for the next one? Stay tuned, because the upcoming body part is perhaps even more surprising and critically important for your overall health. Let's talk about your feet, the very foundation of your health that you might be unintentionally neglecting. Pause for a moment and reflect on the immense amount of work your feet perform for you every single day. They bear your weight, enable your movement, and provide crucial balance. Yet, for a vast majority of people, foot care remains an afterthought. Perhaps a quick rinse during a shower, maybe occasionally remembering to apply a bit of lotion. But here is the crucial information most people aren't aware of. Neglecting proper foot hygiene can result in infections, nerve damage, and potentially even life-altering conditions, such as serious diabetic complications. Inadequate foot care directly impacts your circulation, balance, and overall mobility, consequently increasing your risk for falls, uncomfortable swelling, and chronic pain. Particularly for individuals over the age of 50, foot health is intricately linked to general well-being. Dr. Emma Harris, the specialist in senior health previously mentioned, aptly describes it this way: your feet are comparable to the foundation of a house. If that base becomes weak or starts to crumble, everything situated above it, your posture, your joints, even your cardiovascular health, begins to suffer. Therefore, it's imperative that we become serious about providing our feet with the attention they genuinely deserve before minor issues escalate into significant problems. As we age, foot care becomes increasingly critical. Your feet are remarkably complex structures. Each one comprises 26 bones, 33 joints, and over 100 muscles, tendons, and ligaments, representing a quarter of all the bones in your entire body. However, with advancing age, circulation naturally tends to slow down. This means your feet are often the first area of your body to display signs of trouble. Swelling or persistently cold toes could indicate poor circulation or underlying cardiovascular issues. Redness, unusual paleness, or noticeable changes in skin texture might serve as early warnings of diabetic complications or even nerve damage. Experiencing aching or burning sensations could point towards neuropathy, a condition that can significantly affect balance and movement. And if you are managing diabetes, meticulous foot care transcends mere comfort. It is fundamentally about preventing infections, ulcers, and, in severe cases, even amputations. So what is the effective solution? Implementing the correct daily care for your feet. Most individuals mistakenly assume that simply standing in the shower allows the water to sufficiently cleanse their feet, but this is generally inadequate. You need to adopt an intentional approach to foot hygiene. Wash your feet thoroughly every day. Use a soft washcloth and a mild soap to gently cleanse the tops, soles, and sides of your feet. Pay particular attention to the spaces between your toes, as this is a favored hiding spot for bacteria and fungus. Think of it like cleaning window blinds. If you neglect to wipe between each slat, dust and grime inevitably accumulate. Your toes require similar diligence. Use warm, not hot, water. Excessively hot water can strip the skin of its natural oils, making it drier and more susceptible to cracks and infections. Don't rush the process. Sit down comfortably, perhaps using a shower chair, sitting on the edge of the bathtub, or even using a small stool, to make this task easier and safer. Once your feet are clean, however, don't stop there, because the subsequent step is equally crucial. Drying your feet, the step most people skip but absolutely shouldn't. Now that your feet are clean, you might assume the job is done. However, washing constitutes only half the process. Picture this: you've just finished washing a sink full of dishes. Would you immediately stack them away while they are still wet, allowing moisture to remain trapped in the dark corners of your cupboards? Of course not. That trapped water would quickly become a breeding ground for mold and bacteria. Your feet function similarly. If you leave them damp, particularly in the tight spaces between your toes, you are essentially inviting trouble. Just ask Thomas, a 73-year-old retiree who learned this lesson firsthand. For years, he believed that merely rinsing his feet in the shower sufficed. Then, he began to notice a subtle, persistent discoloration between his toes that wouldn't resolve. A visit to his doctor confirmed what he hadn't anticipated: a fungal infection. Like many older adults, Thomas's feet spent numerous hours each day enclosed in socks and shoes. A warm, moist environment ideal for the proliferation of bacteria and fungi. His doctor cautioned that without meticulous drying, the infection could potentially spread and even lead to painful cracks or sores in the skin. Fortunately, once Thomas committed to washing and thoroughly drying his feet every single night, his infection cleared up within a matter of weeks. Even more surprisingly, he noticed an improvement in his balance. The nagging discomfort he had previously felt while walking vanished. His feet felt stronger, healthier, and more stable, granting him a renewed sense of independence. Here's the proper method for drying your feet, a step many people get wrong. Use a soft, clean towel. After washing, grab a towel specifically designated for your feet. This helps prevent the spread of bacteria, and dry every part thoroughly, tops, bottoms, and pay extra special attention to the areas between each toe. Be meticulous. Gently lift each toe slightly and dab the area dry carefully but firmly. Avoid rubbing aggressively. The primary objective is to remove every trace of moisture. Never leave your feet damp. Moisture trapped between the toes creates the perfect breeding conditions for fungal infections, such as athlete's foot. Once your feet are completely dry, you're almost finished, but there's one final, important step. Moisturize, but do so with precision. As we get older, the skin on our feet tends to lose moisture more rapidly, which can lead to uncomfortable cracking, peeling, and general discomfort, particularly during winter months or in dry climates. Apply a small amount of moisturizer to the tops and soles of your feet. Massage it in gently to help keep your skin soft, supple, and to prevent painful cracks from forming. However, critically, never apply lotion between your toes. Why? Because trapping moisture in these confined spaces can counteract all your careful drying efforts and actually encourage fungal growth. Think of it as maintaining a delicate balance, providing hydration where it's needed while ensuring dryness where it's essential. Beyond just cleaning and drying, there's one more vital habit to cultivate: daily foot inspection. Much like the warning lights on your car's dashboard, your feet can provide early signals of potentially larger health problems brewing elsewhere in your body. Dedicate a moment each day, perhaps after drying them, to visually inspect your feet. Look for any new patches of discoloration, unusual redness, pale skin, or dark spots. Take note of any persistent soreness that lingers longer than expected. Check for small cuts, cracks, or sores, especially any that seem slow to heal. Be aware of any swelling, unusual coldness in your toes, or tingling sensations. These seemingly minor signs could be subtle indicators of serious underlying issues such as poor circulation, developing infections, or complications related to diabetes. Don't dismiss them. If something doesn't look right or simply doesn't feel right, make an appointment to talk with your doctor. Detecting problems in their early stages can often prevent significant long-term damage. Your feet faithfully carry you through life, so invest the time to take proper care of them. Now that we've thoroughly addressed foot hygiene, let's shift our focus to another body part that most people tend to neglect and explore why its proper care could be impacting your overall health more profoundly than you might imagine. Let's discuss your armpits. More than just sweat and odor, they hold a hidden key to your immune health. Most individuals perceive their armpits merely as spots requiring deodorant application, areas primarily associated with managing perspiration and body odor before venturing out. However, here's a fact that remains largely unrecognized. Your underarms play a vital role in your body's capacity to detoxify itself and effectively combat infections. That's correct. Your armpits are significantly more than just a sometimes sweaty inconvenience. They harbor an intricate network of lymph nodes, which are small yet potent structures tasked with filtering toxins, draining metabolic waste products, and maintaining the strength and responsiveness of your immune system. What occurs when these areas are neglected? Sweat, bacteria, and dead skin cells accumulate, leading to clogged pores. This buildup can result in itchy rashes, persistent irritation, and odor that seems to linger despite regular deodorant use. Over time, residue from antiperspirants and deodorants can also build up, potentially trapping toxins and possibly even contributing to inflammation of the lymph nodes themselves. If left unaddressed, clogged pores in the underarm area can escalate into painful infections or even abscesses, problems that require considerably more effort to resolve than they do to prevent in the first place. Helen Carter, an expert in lymphatic health, explains it succinctly. Your underarms function like a natural drainage system. If they become congested with product buildup, bacteria, and sweat, your body encounters difficulty in efficiently eliminating waste. Over time, this situation can weaken your overall immune response. Therefore, if you've been habitually skipping thorough underarm care, relying solely on deodorant to manage the situation, it's definitely time to reconsider and adjust your routine. Here's how to properly clean your underarms, as many people inadvertently get this wrong. Begin in the shower using warm water. This helps to gently open your pores, facilitating the removal of sweat and accumulated debris. Employ a soft washcloth or a gentle sponge. Remember that the skin in your underarm area is quite delicate, so consciously avoid scrubbing too aggressively. Utilize varied motions. Start with gentle circular movements, then transition to up and down strokes, followed by side-to-side motions. This multi-directional approach, much like carefully polishing a fragile piece of crystal, ensures that you thoroughly remove buildup without causing unnecessary irritation to the skin. Selecting the right soap is also important. Harsh soaps, particularly those heavily scented, can disrupt the natural balance of your skin's microbiome. Instead, opt for a mild, preferably fragrance-free cleanser to minimize the risk of rashes and irritation. Finally, rinse the area completely. Soap residue left behind on the skin can lead to dryness, itching, and discomfort. Ensure you rinse thoroughly until the water runs entirely clear. Consider Olivia, a 65-year-old retired teacher who endured years of recurring underarm rashes simply by omitting this crucial rinsing step. She had mistakenly assumed it was just an unavoidable aspect of aging. However, after transitioning to a mild, unscented soap and adopting a more deliberate and thorough washing and rinsing routine, she witnessed a remarkable improvement. "I used to constantly deal with irritated, bumpy skin under my arms," she recalled. "But once I learned the proper way to wash and, importantly, rinse thoroughly, it was like night and day. Those persistent issues simply vanished." The process doesn't end with washing. Drying and subsequent care are equally vital. Once you have properly washed and rinsed your underarms, the next step is just as critical but frequently overlooked: drying them correctly. If you've ever inadvertently tossed damp laundry into a hamper and forgotten about it, you understand the outcome. It begins to smell musty and becomes a breeding ground for bacteria. The same principle applies if moisture lingers under your arms after showering. Why is this problematic? Damp skin provides the perfect environment for bacteria and fungi to flourish. Residual moisture can lead to irritation, redness, and even rashes. Furthermore, clogged pores in the underarms can result in painful bumps, ingrown hairs, or infections. The solution is simple: dry with care. After stepping out of the shower, gently pat your underarms dry. Avoid vigorous rubbing, as this can create microscopic abrasions on the skin surface where bacteria can easily settle. Use a soft, clean towel, similar to the recommendation for your feet. Having a dedicated towel for sensitive areas helps prevent the potential spread of bacteria. Allow your underarms to air out for just a moment before applying deodorant. Why this brief pause? It permits your skin to settle, thereby reducing the likelihood of irritation and also enhancing the effectiveness of your deodorant. Once dry, you might immediately notice a difference. Your underarm skin feels smoother, less prone to irritation, and generally fresher. Here's a fascinating fact reinforcing why underarm hygiene impacts your overall health. Your armpits house over 20 lymph nodes, all quietly working behind the scenes to filter toxins and support your immune system. This means that maintaining good underarm hygiene isn't solely about staying fresh. It represents a small yet powerful way to protect your body's crucial defense mechanisms. Try incorporating this enhanced underarm care routine for just 1 week, and you might be genuinely surprised by the positive outcomes. You could experience smoother underarm skin, free from the roughness of clogged pores. Expect less irritation and redness, as accumulated bacteria and sweat won't have the opportunity to linger and cause problems. You'll likely notice a significant reduction in body odor, because when you effectively remove the bacteria responsible for causing odor, there's nothing left to fuel those unpleasant smells. Olivia, the 65-year-old retired teacher we mentioned, was truly amazed by the substantial difference proper underarm care made to her daily comfort. After years of grappling with irritation and bumps, she finally found lasting relief, all stemming from a simple adjustment to her hygiene practice. And here's something even more intriguing. Some individuals report experiencing an overall boost in their sense of well-being simply by paying closer attention to their underarms. Why might this be? Because your lymphatic system, the body's innate detoxification network, relies on clear pathways to perform its job effectively. When your underarm area becomes congested with sweat, bacteria, and product residue, your body has to exert more effort to flush out toxins. However, when you take better care of this crucial area, your body's natural cleansing processes improve, potentially leading to increased energy, better circulation, and an overall lighter, fresher feeling. Breathe better, live better. Understanding the hidden impact of nasal hygiene. We take approximately 20,000 breaths every single day. Yet how frequently do we pause to consider the quality of the air we're inhaling with each breath? Breathing is largely an automatic process. It occurs without conscious effort or thought. But here lies an important truth. Most people aren't breathing as efficiently or effectively as they could be. Over time, suboptimal breathing patterns can gradually sap your energy, disrupt your sleep patterns, and even negatively impact your brain function. Your nose is one of nature's most remarkable air filtration systems, ingeniously designed to sift out dust, allergens, and potentially harmful bacteria before they can ever reach your delicate lung tissues. However, just like the air filter in your home's HVAC system requires regular cleaning or replacement to function optimally, your nasal passages also necessitate ongoing maintenance. What happens when you neglect nasal hygiene? Microscopic irritants, common dust particles, pollen, and various environmental pollutants accumulate within your nasal passages. This buildup makes it progressively harder for your body's natural defenses to effectively filter out harmful particles. Consequently, your airways can become inflamed, leading to common complaints like frequent stuffy noses, disruptive snoring, and even restless sleep patterns that leave you feeling unrefreshed. Furthermore, inadequate nasal hygiene has been linked to higher rates of respiratory infections and potentially even reduced oxygen flow to the brain. Consider this. If your nose isn't functioning at its full capacity, it stands to reason that the rest of your body isn't operating at its peak potential either. Helen Carter, the respiratory health expert, describes the nose's function aptly. Your nose acts like a built-in security system for your body. It filters out undesirable elements, humidifies the air you breathe, and ensures your lungs receive the cleanest, healthiest oxygen possible. But, similar to any filter, if it becomes clogged, everything downstream suffers the consequences. As we age, our body's natural defense mechanisms tend to slow down. This reality means that keeping your nasal passages clear becomes even more crucial, not merely for comfort, but for promoting better breathing, achieving higher quality sleep, and supporting better overall health. So, what is the most effective way to care for your nose? Let's explore how to properly clean your nose and understand why this practice matters more than you might realize. Start your day with a gentle nasal rinse. Simply splashing a little warm water around your nostrils upon waking can help clear away dust and mucus that may have accumulated overnight. For a more thorough cleaning, consider using a saline spray or a neti pot. Saline sprays function like a refreshing internal shower for your nasal passages, effectively helping to flush out irritants and improve airflow. A neti pot, if used correctly, can be particularly beneficial if you frequently suffer from seasonal allergies or persistent congestion, offering a deeper cleanse. Breathing in steam is another effective method to open up your airways. Taking a warm shower and consciously inhaling the steam, or carefully leaning over a bowl of hot water with a towel draped over your head to trap the steam, can help loosen stubborn mucus, making breathing significantly easier. Adding a few drops of eucalyptus or peppermint essential oil can enhance this experience, soothing your nasal passages and providing an immediate sensation of refreshed breathing. Be mindful of how you blow your nose. Many people instinctively pinch both nostrils shut and blow forcefully. This common practice can actually push mucus deeper into the sinus cavities, potentially leading to increased irritation and pressure. The recommended technique is to gently clear one nostril at a time into a soft tissue. Afterward, always wash your hands thoroughly to prevent the spread of germs. Combat nasal dryness, especially prevalent as we age or during dry weather. The delicate lining inside the nose can become dry and cracked. Applying a tiny amount of a natural lubricant, like coconut oil or vitamin E oil, using a clean finger or a cotton swab, can keep nasal passages comfortably moisturized. This simple habit takes only minutes daily, but the benefits can be life-changing. You may notice clearer breathing with less congestion and fewer sniffles, leading to better airflow throughout your day. This often translates to deeper, more restful sleep, free from stuffiness and snoring interruptions. With improved oxygen intake, energy levels can rise, reducing brain fog and increasing alertness. Furthermore, regular nasal care helps flush out irritants before they trigger allergy flare-ups. James, a 69-year-old retired construction worker plagued by chronic congestion for decades, shared, I spent years just assuming my stuffy nose was part of getting older. But once I started using a saline spray and incorporating steam inhalation each morning, it was like a switch flipped. I could finally breathe clearly again. Similarly, Bella, a 76-year-old gardening enthusiast who consistently woke up feeling sluggish and congested, found relief. Making nasal care part of my routine meant I started waking up refreshed instead of groggy. I never realized how much my breathing impacted my energy. It's quite remarkable how seemingly small actions, like cleaning your belly button, can yield such a noticeable positive effect on your overall personal hygiene and daily comfort. This makes sense when we consider our bodies as complex, interconnected systems. Even the smallest, often overlooked areas can create ripple effects that influence our broader sense of well-being. Take Jane, a 78-year-old retiree, for example. She had never given much thought to her belly button, but had persistently noticed a faint, slightly musty odor she couldn't quite pinpoint. I kept suspecting my clothes, my soap, or even something in my diet, she admitted. Then, I began incorporating belly button cleaning into my daily routine, and the smell completely vanished. Not only that, but the skin around my stomach area started feeling softer and healthier too. This experience isn't unusual. As we age, hormonal shifts, various medications, and a natural slowing of skin cell turnover can subtly alter our body's natural scent profile and skin condition. Adopting a small, intentional habit, such as gently cleaning the navel, can effectively restore freshness and prevent potential discomfort in ways one might never anticipate. While regular, gentle cleaning is typically sufficient to keep your belly button fresh and free from problems, it's always wise to remain vigilant for any unusual changes. Consult your doctor if you observe persistent redness or irritation, as this could be an early indicator of an infection. Similarly, seek medical advice if you notice any unusual discharge or experience itching, which might suggest a bacterial or fungal issue. Pain that doesn't resolve, especially if you have a history of body piercings in the area, even old ones, warrants attention, as piercings can sometimes develop hidden infections years later. For individuals managing diabetes or those with weakened immune systems, even minor infections can potentially escalate rapidly if not addressed promptly. That's why incorporating a simple daily cleanse can serve as an easy yet potent line of defense. If you have a pierced belly button, remember that even piercings that healed long ago aren't entirely maintenance-free. Jewelry can trap bacteria, sweat, and dead skin cells, potentially leading to irritation or infection. A piercing tract often remains a small pocket where buildup can occur. Take an extra moment each day to gently clean around the jewelry using warm water and mild soap, and always dry the area completely to prevent moisture retention. Keep an eye out for any redness or sensitivity, as these can be early signs of buildup or infection. In summary, who would have imagined that these 5 often overlooked body parts, your tongue, your feet, your armpits, your nasal passages, and yes, even your belly button, could hold such significant influence over your health, hygiene, and overall confidence? By integrating these straightforward, easy-to-implement habits into your daily routine, you can take proactive steps to reduce the risk of infections and irritation, potentially boost your circulation and immune health, and ultimately help yourself feel fresher, cleaner, and more energized each day. These small changes truly can yield substantial payoffs for your well-being. Now, it's your turn to reflect. What was the most surprising piece of information you learned today? We'd love to hear from you. Please drop a comment below sharing your thoughts or letting us know which of these simple habits you plan to start incorporating into your own routine. And if you found these tips genuinely helpful and appreciate content focused on practical, science-backed ways to live your best life, please show your support by hitting the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to Old Age Wisdom, and perhaps share this video with friends or family who might also benefit. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.